Many Catholics today love to show a simple timeline. One straight line goes all the way from the Apostles, through church history, up to the modern Roman Catholic Church. And then, around the 1500s, they draw a little branch. A small line off to the side is labeled Protestants. The message is clear. We are the original church, unchanged for 2,000 years. You Protestants came much later. It looks impressive, but the problem is simple. It's not true. The timeline is a myth. It's a cartoon version of church history that ignores the Bible. It ignores the early church. It ignores the Roman Catholic Church's own historical development. Let's start with the most basic question. Did the Roman Catholic Church of today exist in the 1st century, during the days of the Apostles? The honest answer is no. Not even close. In the New Testament and the writings of the earliest Christians, there is no pope ruling the universal church. There is no hierarchy centered in Rome. There is no Mass, no transubstantiation, no confession to a priest, no Marian dogmas, no purgatory, no rosary, no papal infallibility, no idea that one bishop is the supreme head over all Christians. What we actually see in the 1st century is simple. Local churches were led by a plurality of elders. They preached the gospel. They baptized believers. They gathered for the word, for prayer, and for the Lord's Supper. That's it. Rome as a central power did not exist. The papacy did not exist. The Roman sacramental system did not exist. The Catholic Church, as we know it today, is the result of centuries of slow development, additions, and changes. So when someone says, the Catholic Church is the same church founded by Jesus and the Apostles, all you have to do is ask, where are your doctrines in the book of Acts? Where are your practices in the New Testament? Where is the Pope in the 1st century? The silence speaks for itself. Now, let's talk history. Catholics love to accuse Protestants of splitting from the one church in the 1500s. But the truth is that the Roman Church itself split from the rest of Christianity long before the Reformation. The most obvious example is the Great Schism of 1054. The Western Church, led by Rome, broke communion with the Eastern churches. So, if we use the Catholic timeline logic, the Roman Catholic Church should show a massive split around 1054. But their neat little drawings conveniently ignore that. And that's not the only issue. Between the 4th and 10th centuries, Rome adopted doctrines that had never existed in the Apostles' time. The papacy grew into a monarchy. Purgatory became central. Indulgences were created. The Mass became a sacrifice. Prayers to saints were normalized. The veneration of Mary expanded dramatically. None of this was apostolic. Rome changed. Rome evolved. Rome added. Rome drifted from the original faith. So when someone says, the Protestant Reformation created new denominations, the answer is simple. No. The Reformation was a return to the original gospel that Rome had buried under centuries of tradition. It wasn't a new branch. It was a pruning of a tree that had grown wild and diseased. The real timeline is this. The Apostles preached the gospel. Christians preserved the gospel through Scripture. Throughout history, there were believers and churches who held to that gospel even when Rome drifted from it. The Reformation was not a new movement. It was a rediscovery of what had been there from the beginning. So the question is not, which institution can draw a longer line? The real question is, which church holds to the gospel the apostles preached? Paul in Galatians says that if anyone preaches another gospel, even an apostle or an angel from heaven, they are cursed. According to Scripture, the true continuity of the church is not found in buildings, bishops, or timelines. It is found in the truth of the gospel. That means Rome does not get to claim, "We are the original church," simply because it can point to old buildings or long traditions. Age does not prove truth. Continuity of doctrine proves truth. And when you compare Roman Catholic doctrine today with the teaching of Jesus and the apostles, the gap is enormous. So the next time someone shows you that timeline with one long line for the Catholic Church and a tiny branch for Protestants, remember this. The early Church looked nothing like modern Catholicism. The Catholic Church itself split from others long before the Reformation. Rome added doctrines and practices that the apostles never taught. And the true Church has always been defined by the gospel, not by a religious institution. The line of truth is not Roman Catholicism stretching from 33 AD to now. The real unbroken line is the gospel of Jesus Christ, preserved by faithful believers in every generation, long before Rome, long after Rome, and far beyond Rome. That is the real timeline.